The Atlanta Falcons right now are the NFL's most scariest team because nobody really is talking that much about them. This is a team that has flown under the radar. Right now, they're 6-3. They are 6-1 against NFC opponents, 4-0 in their division. And with how well Kirk Cousins has played up to this point, he looks like the runaway favorite to win comeback player of the year. He's fifth in passing yards. He's sixth in passing touchdowns with 17. And he has showed up in all of the Falcons' biggest moments, their biggest games. Anytime the game is on the line, they need Captain Kirk to clutch up a game-winning drive to seal the win for him. He has always showed up. And Kirk Cousins is playing a level of football that I've never seen him play. And I've been watching Kirk Cousins for a very long time, since he was the starting quarterback for Washington to Minnesota. This is the most efficient he's ever been. The Falcons have given him a really good supporting cast. You got a good offensive line, top 10 in pass protection. Your run game has been really good. Bijan Robinson, there was a lot of criticism that the Falcons offensive coordinator was receiving earlier this year due to the lack of utilization Bijan Robinson has been receiving, but over the last couple of weeks, Bijan Robinson has quietly become one of the better running backs in the NFL. Not only are they using him as a running back, but they're getting him more involved in the passing game, which was a large reason why he was a first-round pick. If you're drafting a running back in today's NFL, they got to be more than just a good running back. They got to be a weapon. They got to be able to be effective in the passing game, and that's what Bijan Robinson has been. You got Kyle Pitts, who has had a career season. This is probably going to be the best season that he's had up to this point. You got Drake London, Darnell Mooney, who's also having the best season of his career. He's probably been one of the best free agency acquisitions that any team made. I mean, this is a team that is good enough to make a little bit of a run in the playoffs. Could they be a Super Bowl contender? I wouldn't go that far, but they definitely look like a team that you know you're going to be hosting a home playoff game, because you pretty much got the NFC South on lock unless a miracle happens with the Saints and the Carolina Panthers. Jesus just puts his hands on those franchises. I don't see them being able to be a factor in this division. As a matter of fact, both of their seasons are already over. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, with the injuries to Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, it looks like their season is about to go left. So you're going to have home field advantage for your first round playoff game. And depending on how you rank in the NFC standings when it's all said and done, you could have some home field advantage for your first two playoff games, which gives you a good shot at being able to maybe get to the conference championship game. This is a defense that, although it's not that good, they still have a few players that are more than capable of stepping up and making big plays in crucial moments, like Jesse Bates. He's been the best safety in the league. Looks like he's going to get another all-pro selection. You got A.J. Terrell. Matt Judon has been a really good acquisition for you. You traded for him before the season started. He's been your best pass rusher. This is a Falcons defense that statistically they aren't that impressive, but they do have a really good amount of star players on that side of the football. And you couple that with an offense that has scored over 24 points in their last 3-4 games. The Falcons are hitting their stride, and we haven't even hit Thanksgiving yet. I feel Thanksgiving is when the Falcons are really about to start making more noise than what they have already, because people in the national media aren't really talking that much about the Falcons. When they talk about the best teams in the NFC, the Falcons don't get brought up in that conversation. But if the Falcons were to play Detroit today, you mean to tell me you don't think the Falcons got a chance of beating the Lions with how good they've looked up to this point? I think they are the second best team in the NFC right now, right behind the Lions. I want to take the Washington Commanders over them. I want to take the Rams, the Packers, or anybody else. The Falcons have been a consistent team. They haven't played a lot of great teams, but they do have a win over the Philadelphia Eagles. Right now, you love what you're seeing out of the Atlanta Falcons, because my biggest worry about this team is that they were going to disappoint. They were a little bit overhyped, but they played up the expectations. They were the favorites to win this division, and they right now are in control of it. They're going to be a playoff team. And Raheem Morris, he probably should be in consideration for Coach of the Year. This is the best season that the Falcons have had in over half a decade. So right now, the Falcons, they're a really dangerous team that people need to start paying more attention to, because with how well Kirk Cousins is playing, I believe he can carry this momentum into the postseason. And that's always been the biggest thing with Kirk Cousins, is that he's a good regular season quarterback, but once you get to the postseason, the dude just breaks down. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just a mentality thing or what, but I trust Kirk Cousins in the playoffs this year. He's having performances that I've never seen him have, with the game on the line against the Bucs, the Eagles. If he's been clutch so far, I think that he can play this way in the playoffs as well. And if you can get the regular season version of Kirk Cousins, if you're Atlanta come playoff time, you're more than capable to rattle off 4 wins, get a few great performances out of him, and maybe you could find yourself right back in the Super Bowl. Although that is a little bit of a long shot, I don't think it's necessarily out of the realm of possibility of happening, because the NFC is wide open right now. Outside the Lions, it's a crapshoot to figure out who's the second best team right behind them. And right now, if you were to ask me who would I pick to be the second best team in the NFC, I got to roll with the Atlanta Falcons.